everyone, welcome back to Time by Mail. This is Pete. We're going to go through some pocket watches today that I've recently bought at auction. I just thought it might be interesting to show you some of the finds that we get. This is a small box that I picked up a couple of weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to have a look at it yet or even test the watches, so I thought we'd unbox it and see what we've got. So let's pull them all out and we can have a look. See, this little lady's fob there, another one, and another one. Little silver hunter over here. A few ladies' fob watches. This one looks quite interesting, nice and clean. Hopefully it's okay. Got a Smith's Empire watch here, and this watch, which is in a case, protective case. Let's have a look what's inside. And another open face pocket watch here. The dial is damaged and it's got no glass, so this one might be just the spares, so we'll see. Anyway, let's move them out of the way. I'm sure this is not right, so we'll first of all move that, put it back on the case, back of the protective cover. So when the watch sits in there, you can actually see the time, the time now. So we'll remove them all and we'll go through them one by one. So this Smith's Empire, these were made about the 1950s. This one's probably a little bit later, 1960s. Open face pocket watch. You wind from the top, you push the lever down to set the time. I can tell on this one that the spring seems okay, but the click has gone. So let's wind it, give it up, wind a few times and see if it will go. It's a bit laboured, so it might need a service. But it seems to be okay, seems to be working okay. Let's just release that spring safely. And have a look in the back. I need a sharper knife to do this. These are very simple movements. So the click spring will be underneath here somewhere, which has failed. Hopefully it's still there and it just needs pushing back in place. The balance seems to swing quite freely, but all in all, quite a tidy, clean watch really. Smiths are a British company, and you can pick these up quite cheaply really on places like eBay and that for about £15–20, sometimes up to £30–40 depending on the dial, how unusual it is. But these are quite common. Other companies that made similar watches to this are Ingersoll. Basically exactly the same watch, same case, same designs, just dials are a little bit different. The case just snaps back on. So that's number one. So moving on to number two. This is open face pocket watch, silver cased. As you can see, it's got damage to the dial down here, and the hour hand is broken. Let's see if we can open the case and see where where the case was made. It's a bit stubborn, this one. Oh, there you go. The release button's not really working very well. Push it down a bit more. Okay. I'm not sure if you can see these hallmarks on the silver case, but it's got the anchor, so it's a London. Sorry, it's got the anchor, so it's a Birmingham silversmith that made the case, and the date letter is a C. I'd guess it's probably about 1900. There are many websites on Google that you can go to find out the hallmarks, and exact date the watch exactly. Let's open the front and have a look at the movement. So the watch has movement. Let's get my star key. I'm not sure if you can see this. The watch maker was based in Coventry in England, and his name is Drinkwater. He's the manufacturer of the movement. So Coventry in England is not too far from Birmingham, which makes sense now why the case was made in Birmingham. Let's just test this movement to see if it's okay. So a good way to test especially pocket watch movements is to test them in every single position and make sure that they are still working in every position. Make sure the balance staff isn't broken. So the watch has actually stopped now. Let's start it again. Probably just needs a wind. Give it a wind up and see if it will we can get it going. I find these keys are great if you're going to auction houses and stuff looking for watches or antique fairs. You can test the springs on the watches, make sure that they're okay. It does need a good wind. That'll do. I've had this key for about 25 years. That's why it looks like that. The second hand isn't moving, so I think it might need a service. But not bad. Not bad. Okay. Let's move on to number 2. So number 2 is a keyless Hunter pocket watch. Keyless because you don't use the key to wind it. It's a top wind. So this spring seems unwound as well. Let's pop it open and have a look. Missing its minute hand and its glass. Let's have a look at the is there any life in it? Let's open the back and find out. So again, this is a silver case. Just get my loop. So it's stamped 925, so that would be a foreign silver hallmark. But it does have a date letter, which is the letter N. You might be able to date it, but it'd be difficult to know the city that it was manufactured in. So let's just open the case back. Movement is a Swiss made movement. The balance does swing, but it's very irregular. There's a little bit of life in this movement. Again, probably just needs a good service. Let's give it a test. Test it in every position. And finally, and the watch is still ticking. So yeah, probably just needs a good service, this one. So there's an interesting way of setting the time on these pocket watches. You need to, there's a lever just at about 4:30, just here. If you use your fingernail and pull the lever out, you can then set the time. The dial on this is dirty, but it's not cracked, so it's not in bad condition. This one just needs a bit of a service and a new glass, and it should be okay. Now when you snap the case on the Hunter pocket watch, always press the lever in. Press the crown in, so you don't damage and wear the case out, and then release it and it's closed. So moving on to number 3. This is a pretty little lady's fob watch. These date from about 1910, I think. Has gold leaf on the enamel dial. If I move it up, you might be able to catch the beautiful blue numbers, Roman numerals, and the gold leaf around. I presume it's gold leaf around the edge of the enamel dial. So open the back, use the button on the top to open the case back. This one is stamped 935, so again a foreign silver marking. Slightly softer metal than the previous watch, because it's 935 rather than 925. So you've got to be more careful with when you close the case. Again, use the button to close the case. Let's have a look at the movement. Actually, let's give it a wind first. See if there's any life in this one. Let's get the right size key first. Maybe the smallest one. Ordinarily, I wouldn't suggest using a razor blade, but it has a very fine blade on it, so it doesn't damage the case too much when you open it. Oh, so it has some life, this watch. Seems to be ticking away very strongly. Nice and clean as well for its age. Again, let's give the watch its test. So test it in every single position. Make sure that it's working okay. And finally, on its top, I can still hear it ticking. So this is a nice little watch, this one. Case is a little bit loose on the front, so that will need addressing, but nothing too major on this watch, and it seems to be working fine. So just going back to this watch, I just had a closer look at the bezel where the crystal is. If you can see on the inside that there is a notch on this, which you have to align up with the watch case. Once you have that lined up, hopefully it will snap shut. And there you go, that's okay now. So, nice little watch. So moving on to number 5. This is a brass cased ladies fob watch again. I would imagine this was originally silver plated. Maybe not, maybe it was just highly polished to look like gold maybe. I can hear this one is actually ticking away, and very strongly as well. Seems to be alright, this. Maybe you can hear that. A pretty little watch. This does have an issue though, this watch. Apart from being very dirty, the dial is off, out of alignment, so the whole movement will probably need taking out and aligning properly. It's just a matter of undoing the locking screw here and then moving the watch around so it lines up at 12 o'clock. But it seems to be working okay, that one. So not too bad so far, all of these watches. This one is a open-faced fob watch. Again, the ladies' watch. Probably circa 1900, I would have thought. Most of these are around that time. This one has a lovely silver dial with gold leaf Roman numerals and decorations around the case, around the watch dial rather. Let's open this one up and have a look what this one has in store. Case back. The outer case back doesn't have any markings on it. Let's open up the inner one to see. So the inner case back has a 800 silver grade marking stamped onto it. So a lot of these ladies fob watches were made in Switzerland. I'd imagine this is the same. So a lower grade of silver in this case. Let's see if it wind up and we got any life in this one. Could get the right key, that would help. There you go. The balance is swinging freely, but there's no ticking. Let me just get a jeweler screwdriver, see if this will make any difference. Put a bit of extra pressure on. So might just need winding up a little bit more. Balance seems to be working, swinging freely with a bit of power put onto it. Might just need a service and a clean. But these are quite good watches to work on if you want to get into horology and are just starting out. Each wheel is separately mounted on the back plate of the movement, so you can work on each one individually rather than a solid back plate with all the wheels on one back plate, which is quite difficult to more difficult to work on. This watch probably just needs a good service and a good clean. Balance seems to be okay, which is the most important thing. So the next watch, we have another brass cased open face fob watch. This one has a name on the dial, which I'll use my loop to find out. And I think it says Walton. Let's see if I can get this up close to the... These are a cheaper watch. They have no push button there to release the case back, so I have to use a knife to get into the case. Let's give this one a wind and see. This one has a new life. Interestingly, this case back has what looks like silver marks, but they're obviously not. It's probably just to make the watch look a bit fancy. Maybe they're maker's marks rather than silver date marks. So this one's working. Seems to be ticking okay. Swinging nice and free. It's got some nice machine work on the inner case, which is always a good sign. Quality. Quite a nice watch. Okay, so lastly we have this, which is probably my favourite watch in the collection. A very worn case. It's been used a lot, this watch, but it has kept in very nice condition. The glass is still in good condition. The dial is not cracked. Open-faced gents pocket watch. I'd imagine circa 1870, around that time. I'll have to date it with the case back to see, with the hallmarks rather, to see the exact date. You have some hallmarks here as well. Usually the ring is hallmarked as well. It's a very worn ring, so it's been on a pocket watch, a fob chain, an Albert chain at some point. Unfortunately that's not here. Probably scrapped a long time ago. So let's open this up and see where we are. So you have the three hallmarks. The British hallmark shows that is assayed in Britain. This is the city that the watch was manufactured in. Hopefully you can pick this up and the light's not blurring it for you. This is a leopard's head, so we know that a leopard's head is London, and this is the date letter, which is I'm not not sure what letter that is actually. Looks like O maybe. You probably can't see on the camera, but there are also some watchmaker's marks where the watch has been serviced at some point. Let's see if I can use the loop to find out when that was. It's difficult to see. It's nice to see a little bit of watchmaker's graffiti on there. Let's just give it a wind before we open it up. See if there's any life in this one. Doesn't seem to be. No. I'd imagine that the fusee chain's gone on this, unfortunately, which is quite common. Let's open it up. Check it, be very careful when you open the front of the watch up that you don't damage the enamel dial with your knife. Oh, but their watch is working, so maybe the spring isn't damaged. If you look at 6 o'clock, there's a lever here. Just use your fingernail to push it in and open it up. There you go. Watch is working. This is made by, this is the watchmaker's name, Will, and with small m, so William Ruffles. Difficult to, because it's underneath the screw, can't find out. Might be Ruffcello, don't know. Some beautiful scroll work on the balance here. Unfortunately, the watch is sealed with this ring, so can't see the wheels inside. But very nice actually, and working, which is lovely. There you have it. Just a bit of insight into some of the things that we find at Time by Mail. These watches will be sold as is. With pocket watches, I don't tend to touch them too much. I just let the person who buys them off me do the work on them. I find that a lot of dealers that I sell to prefer the watches untouched. Hope you've enjoyed the having a look at what we've found in the last week, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.